everybody on mute, so try to keep it as low as possible. I'm going to have Mr. Bono. He's going to start stretching out the class while I'm going to go over some history. So while he's stretching out, I want you guys to follow along with him, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get into class, okay? Any questions so far? Yeah. And I do want to point out that if anybody decided, or you know anybody that decided not to maybe watch this because we just think low block's just a low block, trust me, it's a spoiler alert. We do a lot of different things with this technique, so you guys chose a good class to come on to. So Mr. Bono, if you'll go ahead and start stretching them out. If you guys see me, for all my younger guys in here, if you see me look down at my phone, it's because I have all my information on my phone. And I'm older than I used to be. I can't remember everything. So first thing we're going to go over is you guys follow along with him while I talk. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the form itself. So Sekyung Ilbu. It's our very first form that you typically learn in Hong Sudo. And it's very special to us because it was pulled off of a Kicho form. So back in the day, you had the old Kicho form. There were three of them. Low block punch, low block punch, low block punch. We adopted them into Tong Sudo, and especially World Tong Sudo, to add in the three kicks because for their kicks. So we wanted that 20 technique. Anybody think about how long the form should last? Anybody have an idea about how long this form should last when they do it? Go ahead and raise your hand if you think you know. From the start of the form to the beginning. Yes.
You're like this.
50? You're not on mute. You can talk, you're not muted.
30 to 35?
30 to 35, absolutely. It's about 30 to 35 seconds. And if you think that's short or long, it's actually a pretty good amount of time. The one thing that I see sometimes when you guys are doing your form, especially you kind of will start to go through the form like this. We'll do this. We'll come here. We'll go. Kind of speed through it, and it's slower. It's here. It's a slower form. You want it to be slow. All of the forms in martial arts and Hong Sudo, they represent an animal. 5 form, a turtle. If you guys didn't know that, the Chicho or the Sekyung forms don't really have a representation. They represent a baby. You're an infant in your martial arts, and as you're learning, so you're an infant. You're just learning how to walk, learning how to talk, learning the new words, learning the new technique, learning how to do everything. You're learning new. That's why they're kind of slow and methodical and basic, especially if you look at it a third degree. If you're a third degree, second degree, first degree, they're very simple. The other thing is the key off in the movement. One thing you want to think about is with the key off. All right. Through it, but in my opinion, if you wanted to key off every move, first move, second move, third move, have those need to express some type of energy or air. Okay. So enough on that. Let's get into the nitty gritty of it. Y form, hyungs in Japanese are known as katas. They are prearranged forms. Connor, you have a question?
I can hardly hear y'all because Noah.
Okay, well, we'll deal with that if it starts to get a little bit louder because I know Miss Bono already said something. If it gets any louder, we'll go ahead and we'll mute everybody. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. So why the forms are made? Back in the day, way back in the day, forms are made for a world that is at war. You're constantly at war. If you are Hwarang, or you are a samurai, or you are a Chinese Imperial Guard, or something like that. The world is always at war, so you always have to have Nowadays, we have it for different reasons, physical aspects and moral aspects, but we do also keep it for self-defense. In nature, it all comes from China. Whether you practice Tong Sudo, Taekwondo, Soba-do, if you do Shotokan, karate, it all comes from China, and that's actually very represent on the Chinese or the Japanese Asian dragon. So if you see the Chinese dragon has 5 fingers. The Korean has 4, and the Japanese has 3. Next time you guys are on Google, look it up. And the reason why each one of them has loses a finger is because as it moved from mainland to the islands, the theory is that it lost a finger on its travels. Just kind of a little bit of folklore right there. Tong, we practice here, Tong Sudo. And prior to 1932, kara, which karate, kara meant Chinese in Japanese. Karate meant Chinese hand. But post 1932, they changed kara to empty hand because they wanted to have their own system and their own style. So if you look at karate, tongsu, it all means Chinese hand. It all kind of comes from China. But why does it look different? If you look at a Chinese form and a kind of a karate form, it looks different. And that's because of the kanji. In Chinese, they have kanji, but the kanji all meets when you write it. In Japanese and in Korean, it breaks when you write it. But in Chinese, it all meets. So when you do a move of something like this, let's say we were going to do a high block like this. Instead of just doing something in Tong Sudo where we would come high block like this, they might do something where it looks like this. Oh, I think I might have went too fast. It does something like this. And that's because the kanji is all singular. It all works together. So as it came to the mainland, from the mainland to the islands, it changed to more practical and straight to the point. So instead of doing something that's kind of opened here, it just turned to this. It didn't have all these extra points on it. Some people say that's good. Some people say it's bad, but it's just the way that it is. Some other things to think of. At the turn of the century, the Japanese school system adopted the 5 pinyin forms. The 5 pinyin forms are adopted to teach the kids martial arts. So a lot of the forms that you see, they strike to the body. It's a way to keep the kids safe, but that's always not a necessity to strike to the body. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. The one thing that I learned at a seminar that blew my mind, and I never thought about it, was this. Form and sparring are 2 different things. Have you guys ever tried to do a traditional move in sparring? Like if somebody tried to do a kick at you, do something like this in sparring, it doesn't work very well. And that's because your sparring and your form or your self-defense are 2 different things. Don't try to combine them together. We want to try to keep them separate. Adaptation. This is one of the most important ones in my opinion. We'll talk about this if I can use you real quick, Mr. Strider. Adaptation. Mr. Strider, he steps back and he goes to punch at low. So we're doing our low blocks, right? Well, instead of me coming in here, go ahead, and me just doing a traditional low block, what if it was open? The next move is step forward and punch. Well, what if instead of me stepping forward and punching, I step forward and heel palm? There's really no wrong way to do a form because it's the application of who is teaching it and how you're examining it and how you're looking at it, okay? One of my favorite things that I learned at a seminar, I loved it, and I always take this with me, is I want you guys to remember this. A block is a lock, is a blow, is a throw. A block is a lock, a blow is a throw. And basically what I mean by that is that if Mr. Strider just punches at my face, a block can also be, he grabs my hand like this, a lock. Blow is a throw. So even though they're all separate, they can all be used together at the same time. So a block is a lock, is a blow, is a throw, okay? The martial and the art. And that's kind of the key difference between putting these into application. And what I mean by that is this would be the Marshall. Let me step back a little bit so you guys can see my feet. I want to show you this. This would be the Marshall. Stance, posture, here, the art. But the Marshall would be this. I'm minding my own business. This guy taps me on the shoulder. I look, he goes to punch. Whoa, that's not what we're taught, but that's the martial aspect. It was something quick. It was something that I had to defend myself with. So you have to adapt sometimes. Pignon eat on, right here. This guy goes to throw a punch at my head right here. Just like this. Am I in a perfect fighting stance? No, but that's the martial aspect of it. The art aspect is the stances, the posture, all of that, and they work very well together. A couple more things we're going to talk about, and I hope you're learning and you're getting a lot off of these. They help your forms if you start thinking about these, okay? Range of application. This is my favorite, one of my favorite ones, is range of application. And what we mean by range of application is if Mr. Strider is here and he takes, go ahead and just take one step back, he takes a step towards me and I don't want him to. That's my front kick, that's my long range. My middle range would be here. My short range would be here. And my zero range, as we call it, would be here. We are grappling. He's grabbed me, I've grabbed him, and we are grappling now on the ground or close together. So we went from long to middle to shallow. And that changes, whether it be long, middle, short, or together. And all of these techniques are in your form. Check this out. Long, middle, short, zero. This move right here is a block and a grab. It can also be a choke, but it works very well for a block and a grab to strike. So you work that application in. A couple of more things and we're going to get into it. Okay, guys? Here's one of my key points is for a form to be really effective and know what you're doing in it, it's got to follow the ABCs. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A is air, B is blood, C is consciousness, D is dislocation, E is escape, F is fear, and G is ground. And what that basically means is each one of those, my air, if I'm here and we're wrestling together and I can get this up to here and start to choke him with his dobot, that's cutting off his air. If I can get to here and start to work the blood supply, to start to choke off the blood supply, that's great. Consciousness, is he awake? If he goes to punch at me and I block this and I, boom, slam him across the head, and now he's unconscious on the ground. We don't really have to go any further than that. Dislocation, if he goes to punch at me and I come here and I, boom, slam this into his elbow and dislocate his elbow. You don't really have to go any further than that. A, B, C, D, E. Escape. I can escape. He grabs my hand and I do an Iji Kwan Su. I poke him in the eyes and take off and run. I've escaped. What's after E? F. F. Sorry, I don't know my alphabet. Fear. The fear is that he takes a step towards me. Boom. I hit him in the groin. He thinks to himself, maybe I shouldn't have done this. Maybe this was a bad idea. And he has the fear to escape or to not continue any further. And then G, ground, is kind of like the concept that we're all looking for. He goes to do a punch at me. I get here and I can take him down to the ground. Then I can finish from there. Okay? So it has to follow something to a conclusion. It's not just this right here. Block. I block this guy and then I turn to go to something else. Well, why? If I block this guy and then turn to something else, what do you think he's going to do? I block him, boop, and I turn. What do you think he's going to do? He's going to keep attacking. He's not going to go, man, missed out. I'll just have to go home now. Okay? Stretch them out a little bit more, sir, and then we'll move on.
Okay.
So movement is transfer of energy. Your movements aren't just this. Blah, blah, blah. Movement. I am moving. When I move to do my first technique, it is here. I move, move. My energy is moving. It has to be able to defend myself, and you'll see that in the techniques that we are about to do, okay? Last thing, it's not the move of the form, this is a quote, it's not the move of the form, but the form that can be adjusted to meet the practitioner. Back in China, Okinawa, Korea, you might learn up to a master, you might learn 3 or 4 forms, and that is it. And you might practice one form for like 7 years. So it's not, okay, well, I learned a low block and a punch, but I never learned a high block. So I hope nobody attacks me high. It doesn't mean that. It means that we have to change the application of what we're doing, okay? Last thing, some quotes, and then we're gonna move on. Are you guys ready to move on and start doing some techniques? I highly recommend if you have somebody to do them with, these techniques work out a lot better if you have somebody like mom, dad, parent, brother, sister, but you can always do them alone, okay?
I use my girl.
Quotes, some of my favorite quotes about forms, okay? Yang, yin yang, zen, doesn't matter how you look at it. It is everywhere and everything. When your partner contracts, you expand. When you expand, they contract. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Kata has no limits. So who here knows Seikong Ilbu already? Who here already knows the first form? Go ahead and raise your hand if you know the first form, right? So the first form, Seikong Ilbu, goes like this. I low block and I punch. Well, who's to say that I can't do that with a staff? I have my staff. My first move, low block, punch. Low block, punch. Same thing, right? I have a pair of sides right here, my side. I do my first move. I come here, low block, punch. Low block,
Got a knife.
punch. It's the same thing. Nothing changed. If I have a sword, I'll show you guys a really cool application. Pinyon Idon, if you know Pinyon Idon. Technique looks like this. Here, here, here. If I have a sword, here, here, here. It's the same thing. Nothing is changing except for my application of it. If you're looking to do Seikong Ilbu, the first one, I come here and I start off. Low block, strike, low block, strike, low block, strike, front kick, front kick, front kick, and on and on. So you always can look at doing your forms a million different ways. They have no limit to them. Only your imagination, okay?
What is this?
Any questions before we move on? Yes, sir, Connor.
What's a sai?
A sai, it's this weapon right here.
Let's use.
It's one of the traditional Japanese Okinawan weapons. I'm gonna start doing, after we do a couple of form application classes, I'm gonna try to do a little bit more traditional weapon classes. Sai, kama, tonfa, things like that. All right, so it's just a traditional weapon. Any other questions before we begin?
No, sir.
Yes.
Go ahead, Brooklyn.
So if we're allowed to use like our parents, our brother, or sister, or something, can I go get my grandma real quick to do
Go
this?
ahead. Absolutely. If she feels like she wants to do it, go right ahead. So there is one thing that I want you guys to do with me real quick, okay? I want everybody to go ahead and stand up, and we're going to do a real quick drill together, okay? We're going to take our left hand, and we're going to put it down. Then we're going to take our right hand, and we're going to put it up.
Thank you. Oh, I gotta do
Just like this. Left hand down, right hand up. Now we're going to take our left hand and put that up. I know it seems weird. Come back and let's do it again. Left hand down, right hand middle, left hand high. So basically what we're doing there is we're covering all three zones. If I had Mr. Strider come and he punched me in the chest, go ahead, he punches me in the chest, would I want to do a low block for this? Probably not, because my low block is going to have to come up higher and sweep lower. If he comes to punch me in the chest and I do a middle block, that works better because I'm protecting this middle part. If he comes to do a punch to my face right here, a high block works a little bit better because I'm protecting the top. So that's why I wanted to show you guys this, because you can see the zones that they protect: low, middle, high. Does everybody understand that? Just say yes, sir. You're all unmuted.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So next we're going to do the technique, the actual low block. So what everybody to do is start off from chumby position. We're going to take our left hand. We're going to bring it over, down, right hand comes back to your belt. Then we're going to take our right hand and bring it over, down, left hand to our belt. Left hand over, down,
Second back up and by a pull.
right hand, one more time. Right hand over, down, left hand pulls back. This technique is really important right here. If we don't know what this is for, we call this, we refer to this as a pulling hand. This is important because, again, sparring and forms are two different things. If you're doing your forms or you're doing sparring and I'm sparring against somebody right here and I have my hands down here just like this, well, that's not what we're taught. We're taught to keep them up. But in a form, we're not taught to keep them up. We're taught to keep them here. And again, the application is different for the two. Does everybody know why this hand goes back to here? I'll tell you why. Mr. Strider comes and he punches and I just do number 8. Go ahead. Boom. I block here. This hand pulls to here. This hand pulls to here. That's what this is in a form. I am not letting him escape, because if he punches and I block and he tries to get away, now I can't, I have to chase him. I want him here. So if he goes to punch and I come here and I pull this to my belt, look how exposed. So that's why we pull this hand back to our belt. Okay? So let's get into it. Are you guys ready? Let me hear a loud yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, very good. So we're going to do kind of 10 different techniques. I'm going to show you 10 techniques for a low block. You might not have thought that there's that many, but there's more because we already talked about that. Forms are limitless, right? But I'm going to show you 10 techniques. The first one is going to be what you think it is. It is a low block, okay? This guy right here, he steps back to attack, and he's going to punch low. If you're doing these techniques with people at the house and you're punching here, that's why they're not working very well, is because they still need to be low. So remember low for these. So as he comes to punch low, go ahead. Boom. My hand comes across, down, and sweeps away. But here's one key thing that I want you to know about your forms. And always take this in your martial arts training for instructors, whoever else. Just because your form starts to the left, it does not mean your attacker is attacking you to the left. It's a set form to help people remember these techniques. I could be standing here straight together, just like this. He goes to punch me, and I step off to the side. That is, don't move. That is this. You guys see that? He comes to punch. I step back to block. That is this. So it's not so much I'm trying to meet force with force, because if you remember Yang would mean we would never meet force with force. If he goes to punch me, I wouldn't want to do this. Ah! Try to meet that force with that force, because if he's overpowering me, he's going to hurt me. So I want to step off the line. If he comes to punch at me, cut, I might move off to the side here so I can strike him. Okay? We'll talk about that once we get back into classes. I'll start doing our lines on the mat again, and we can start working those drills. So what I want you to do with your partner or by yourself is I want one partner to step back. He's going to come and punch at my stomach. You are going to step back, right leg, and low block. Does everybody understand? Yes, sir? So one more time. I'm here. He's going to step. I'm going to low block. One more time. Let's do it slow. He's going to step. Left hand comes across. Low block. I'm meeting my forearm, this forearm. Many years ago when I was much younger and stupider, we used to do these drills before class. We take our forearms and go, it's not going to be pretty. Hit, 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 hit. It strengthens your forearm so when somebody goes to punch at you, you don't go, ah, like that. You can meet, right? You can meet bone to bone, flesh to flesh, muscle to muscle. Because in essence, that's what you're going to have to do. If somebody is attacking you and you have to block it, you have to be able to receive that strike, okay? So what I want you guys to practice real quick, we'll do it, I'll stop it. I'll watch you guys, make sure you're all doing it right. But as he comes to punch, one more time, let's step back, low block. Give that a few tries, and we'll move on from there. I'm going to watch everybody, see how they're doing. If you got your partner, go ahead and grab a partner. And do it. There's everybody. Here we go. So, Stella, take your left hand and bring it up to your right ear. There you go. Good. Now, low block that. Sweep it. There you go. Good. 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 And then here's the other thing. I'm not sure who's with you, mom, aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa. I can't. Okay, perfect. So here's the other thing. Somebody much bigger and taller than you is probably not going to punch you in the stomach. They're probably not going to try to hit you there. They're going to try to hit you in the face. Absolutely. So we have to adjust this. Again, that's why we have here, here, and here. We have 3 zones to block ourselves, but try to make that low possible. So let's go ahead and move on to our next. So our next one is going to be here. Mr. Strider is going to come for like a hook. He's going to try to hook me to my ribs. Boom, just like this. Can everybody see that? Go ahead and do it on the other side. Boom, just like that. So here, as he goes to try to hit me, go ahead, whichever side. I'm going to low block again. My arm comes across. Go ahead. What? Here, just like that. Another good thing that you guys will notice is that I'm stepping and moving. Because if he goes to try to hit me here, go ahead. Boom, he hits me. Go ahead and try to hit me again. Go ahead. The body in hitting is a targeting weapon, machine, however you want to look at it. If Mr. Strider stands right there and I go to punch him in the face and he doesn't move, I'm going to hit him in the face. But if he just moves his head to the side just a little bit, well, I missed him because he is moving out of that range. My targeting is trying to hit him. I'm trying to target his face. That's why a lot of martial arts, they teach ducking, weaving, and bobbing as a way to defend too, so you can get out of the way of that, okay? So the last one we're gonna do for this is a front kick. And I think that's what a low block is made to defend, honestly, 100% a front kick. Because he can punch me in the face all day long, but he might not be able to kick me in the face. He might not be able to front kick me in the face, but I'm sure he could probably front kick me in the body. No matter how much martial arts training you have, somebody can pretty much pick up their leg and kick you in the stomach, okay? So as he comes to kick me in the stomach, I step off the line and block. So one more time, as he goes to kick me in the stomach, I step off the line and block. And here's the other thing too that we have to do with this, guys, is you have to get really close. Because if he is trying to be a good partner and not hit me, then it's hard. Because if he kind of gets that gap, if he goes to kick me, go ahead, and there's a gap right there, well, this technique isn't going to work. It was useless. But if he actually, go ahead and hit, like that, he actually hits me. Do it again. He actually hits me just like that. He does it one more time. You guys see how much better that worked because he is actually trying to physically touch me and hit me. Don't get too excited. Okay. All right, calm down. All right. So we're doing that. So we're going to go on to the next application. First application, a low block. Second application is actually going to be a strike. He comes here. Check this out. He goes to do that front kick where he's going to really hit me. What? You guys see this right here? This move.
Yeah. But are you
Right? Watch that bottom hand when he goes to hit. What? You guys see how I use this bottom hand to move that leg when he goes to hit? What? Then what do you think this hand's going to do? Anybody? I'm going to smash him in the groin with my low block. It has turned into a hammer fist now. So as he goes to punch, I'm sorry, kick, sorry, I move that out of the way so I can hit. Or I move that out of the way so I can hit. But here's one other thing that I want you to think about is the follow-up. If I'm standing here, let's go ahead and move back a little bit because I want to know what it is. If I'm standing here and he takes a step towards me, go ahead, and I kick him in the groin, what do you think his body is going to naturally do? It's going to bend over. It's going to get hit. He's going to hit. He's going to get bent over. It's going to hurt. And after I kick him in the groin, boom, and he bends over. Go ahead. I kick him in the groin. He bends over. Check this out. Oof. That low block is now turned into a strike. And what we call that is we call that changing levels. Where he once was or wasn't, now he is. If he comes to take a punch at me and I step to the side, boom, and I hit him in the stomach or in the ribs with a round kick, and he bends over, that's where that low hammer fist comes in. It's all about manipulation of the body. If I come here and he goes to punch again, and I come here like this, and I elbow him in the face, bam, just like this. Sorry, sir. And I grab his hair and pull his hair back, and I do a low block now. All it was the hammer fist to the face because I manipulated his body to be at that point. So what I want you to do with your partner real quick is I want you to do that. Your partner is going to punch at you. You're going to step to the side, low block, wrist. This is the easiest way to show this technique because it's a little tricky, okay? He's going to punch with the hand. Go ahead. I'm going to step to the side, low block the ribs. One more time. Let's step to the side, low block the ribs. Give it a try with your partner. Try it by yourself. I'm going to be watching to see how you guys are doing. Go ahead. There you go. Beautiful. That was good, Landon. Good. Move out of the way. Get out of the way. Good. Good. A couple more times. What's that? What's going on, Stella?
I forgot.
What's that?
I said I forgot.
You're going to punch at her.
Okay.
You're going to punch at her. She's going to move to the side.
To the
Yeah.
side.
Move to the side.
I'm best that guy for a part.
Move to the side. There you go. And then you're going to hammer fist with your right hand. That's your left hand. Right hand. There you go. Good. Good start. It's a good start. Okay. Good. So let's come back here, guys. So basically how these two are looked at, these two techniques is they are looked at like this. He comes to try to punch me in the stomach. But I low block and I punch him. He goes to try to punch me in the stomach. But one more time. But and hammer fists. Just like that. So they're commonly seen as a punch and a strike. Are you guys ready to see some pretty cool stuff that we could turn them into? Here we go. First one right here is going to be what we call a hand strip. And a hand strip looks like this. He's going to grab my hand. It does not matter if he grabs same side or opposite side. I'm going to step back and low block. And this should look pretty familiar. Number two, when he grabs me, I step. Number two, right? Easy concept, easy one to do. Let's do a secondary one. He's going to grab my left hand. My other hand is going to come over and strip outwards. So from here, my other hand is going to come over and strip outwards. Give that one a try real quick. And I want to see how Landon does on his, because this is a great opportunity to show something. Because I'm not sure his dad, uncle, whoever it is, he's much bigger and much stronger, right? So if you try to bring that right hand over and strip it, yeah. Landon's partner, who I don't know your name, grab him hard. Grab him, really grab him. Don't let him just take his hand off. Bring that hand over and try to strip it. Good. Now, what if you can't get that arm off? What if that person is too strong? Mr. Strider grabs me and he grabs me hard. And he's just too hard. Yes, Landon, you already knew what to do. Very good. We call it a softener. The softener would be this. I heel palm him in the face. I strike him in the eyes. I hit him in the throat. It doesn't matter what it is. But then I go to do the strip. Because if you're not going to be able, if that person's not going to fight fair, you're not going to be able to as well. So he grabs, strip. So let's look at a different strip. He's going to grab here. He's going to grab cross grip. And my hand is going to do this. You guys go ahead and let go so you guys can watch this. Left hand across, left hand down, just like we do a normal low block, right? He's going to grab my wrist. Oh. One more time. You guys all see that? My hand comes up. My right hand is the stripping hand. And then again, if you need to soften them, he grabs my hand, strike, and soften to get out. But basically all I'm doing is this. I'm bringing my hand up and using my other hand to strip that hand off. So one more time, he grabs, my hand comes up, strips away, just like that. Give that a try with your partner.
You are.
If you have questions, don't hesitate to ask.
Yeah.
Right?
I got
No.
We're doing this. I want to say here.
So you're Stella. Go ahead and grab her again. Go ahead and grab Stella again.
She's hesitating.
So your left hand comes up, Stella. Your left hand, calm down, slow down. Your left hand comes up. Your left hand comes up.
I don't use
No, you're bringing your arm up. Your left hand comes up.
This way.
Good. Now take your right hand and bring it to that hand.
Yeah.
Now pull down and out.
stand.
There you go. You got it. Very good. Just like that.
Great.
1 second.
This one.
Keep working on it.
My first.
Good. Now bring the other hand up. Stella, bring the other hand up and strip. Pull down and out. There you go. Good. Very good. All right. So let's look at this. Let's put this into application. Mr. Strider grabs my hand. I step back. Low block the strip. He grabs my hand opposite right here. This hand comes up. That other hand comes up and strips it away. Just like that. For all of my people that are up into their pinion forms, look familiar? It's the same thing. It really is. He grabs my hand cross grip right here, and I come here. We're doing the same thing. Whether my arm stays out or back, it's the same thing. Okay? So let's move on to another one. Our another one is going to be here. He's going to grab the cross grip. Okay? And I'm going to do it inside to outside arm twist and grab. Okay? Stick with me on this one because this one's a little, I don't want to say weird, but it takes a little practice. When he grabs my wrist, this is one thing that I see with you guys when we were doing classes, is that when he grabs my wrist really strong, Landon and Landon's partner, I'm not sure if it's dad or not, but Landon and Landon's partner, really grab him on this. Because if he just tries to pull his hand up, make it really strong, sir. If he just tries to pull his hand up and twist it over, it's not going to work very well. But watch this. If I step forwards, backwards, side, or side, doesn't matter. The technique is multiplied by 100 because of leverage. If he holds this really strong and I step to the side, you guys see how easy that was? I did nothing. If I stay right here, go ahead. Maybe he's stronger with his right hand. That's fine. Watch this. By stepping, and what I'm doing is I'm increasing the leverage and breaking off his balance. He grabs me and I step back. This technique right here. One more time. Is this right here?
How about the ass?
You guys don't see that? One more time. This technique right here.
Yeah, it's a cool little roar.
It's the same exact thing. I just didn't punch him. I could punch him if I wanted to. If he grabs and I do this right here, and he steps away from me, uh-oh, maybe I shouldn't do this. He tries to get away. Go ahead. We still have this grabbing arm and pulling arm. So as he's trying to run away, I step forward, boom, right into the kidney, right into the head, right into the ear, wherever it should be. Okay? So one more time, he grabs my wrist. I step. Step. Give that a try. If you're not doing it with a partner, it looks like this right here. Roll. Step forward. Doing it to the other side. Roll. Step forward. We're gonna try. I'm gonna watch you guys real quick. Oh, Stella, it looked like it worked. I saw it for a second. Give it another try.
She's rough.
Got it.
Do that one again for me, Landon. So step back. Now bring your arm up and over. No. You're doing your elbow first. Check this out, Landon. Look. You're doing your elbow first. You're doing this. No, like this. All you do is you take your wrist and roll your wrist over. Step back. Roll your wrist over. Does that work better?
Yes. Yeah.
It's leverage. It's all leverage, guys. If Mr. Strider, one more time, if Mr. Strider goes to if I try to do this with him and I do this right here, I can't. But right here, I can. It's all about leverage. Okay? Let me see you guys practice that a few more times. McLean, I'm watching you. Watching us. Up. Connor, let's see you do it. Arm roll, the push. And the one last thing that I want you guys to get, because Stella, I just saw it with you. You didn't do anything wrong, but I just saw it with you, is what I call sticky feet. And sticky feet look like this. It's like your feet are stuck to the ground. Where he goes, go ahead. I go too, because it's easier for me to control him. If I do this right here and he steps away from me, go ahead and I do this, it doesn't work very well. So we don't want to have sticky feet. That's why we said steps or movement of energy. When I come here and I low block and he steps away, go ahead, he steps away, good. It just helps me generate more power and energy. Good. All right. Next one I think you guys are going to like. We got about 10 more minutes. The next one I think you guys are going to like is our hand roll. This one right here is a little advanced, so we're going to spend a little bit more time on it. Okay? So please watch. Stacker or partner is just going to put their hand out. That's it. Left over right, down. Left over right, down. Left over right, down. Left, right, down. Does everybody see that? Again. This move, you go punch. Go ahead and step back and punch. Cut.
Yeah.
It's the same exact move. It's just changed up a little bit. So as he goes to punch, cut, block, block. Call these rolling blocks. Basically rolling his hand to the side. left, under, sorry, left, over, right. So when I'm here and he goes to punch, go ahead. One more time. When he goes to punch, one time. Okay, now check this out. We're going to add in two of the things that we've already practiced. He's going to go to punch. Hut, block, block, strike to the groin. One more time. Hut, block, 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 strike to the groin. As you go to like, take on Sambu. Hut. Take on Ibu. Hut. It's all the same. Low block, high block. Low block, inside to outside block. Okay? So I want to see you guys practice that because that move is a lifesaver. If I'm standing here and I'm minding my own business and he grabs me on my shoulder, boom, and he goes to try to punch me. I'm escaping, I'm evading, or he grabs my shoulder or he grabs my collar right here and he goes to punch. Right there. He goes to punch, however, I'm rolling that hand out and down. So if we were looking at it like a real life application, if he came to punch me, we'll do the right hand. Hope you guys can all see. If he came to punch me, go ahead. That's what I'm looking to do right there. If you want to do it to the other side, it is, go ahead, other hand. Yep, just go ahead and put it out. It's right, under, left. Right, under, left. You'll always have a better side. I'm sure Master Lap and Master Luton, they can tell you that every day. You're always going to have one side that's a little bit better. Mine's my right. When he goes to, whenever he goes to just let me go ahead and punch, he comes here. I'm much more fluid on this side than I am on my left side. But I should be more on my left side because, let me ask a question out here. Who here is right-handed? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you're right-handed. Almost everybody out there.
I can do both.
Almost everybody. So what's going to happen in real life is this guy is not going to grab you by his right hand and hit you with the left. It's going to be the opposite. He's going to grab you with his non-dominant hand so he can hit you with that hand. That's why we practice both sides. Thank you, sir. All right, so let me see you guys practice that roll one more time. All right, so from here, left, right, left, right, down. Left, right, down.
Do it again, please.
To the right, you have a question, Brooklyn?
Please do that again.
Left, right, under, down. Left, right, under, down. Put your hand right here for Mr. Right there. Why don't you just put your hand out? So check this out.
What?
One more time. And then this hand that comes back is that pulling hand. Okay? Other side, it would be right, left, right, over, left.
What?
Over left.
Okay? So I've got one more. One more. That was an hour too, guys, by the way. It's a quick hour. I've got one more for you. It's my favorite one because in my opinion, it's like the fanciest one. And this is basically a Shaolin takedown from a low block. Shaolin monk, Shaolin Kung Fu. So we're going to come here. So Mr. Strider, just to show you guys the easiest, he's going to attack me on the left side just so you guys can all see it. So I'm going to do my technique I just did. He's going to punch. I'm going to step out 1, 2, right here. And I'm going to step out with my left leg and I'm going to punch. Boom. Boom. Whatever it is. You see that my left leg is behind his leg. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my left hand and I'm going to bring him down. Just like that. One more time. If we did it on the other side, If he punched on the other side, go ahead. And I did my block here. This right leg, when I go to punch, boom, I hit, low block, right here, okay? A little bit easier aspect of it is here. It turns from a horse stance to a low block. What I mean by that is he goes to punch with his left hand, so I can just show you on both sides. Once I come here and I go to do an elbow, let's move back. There we go. When he goes to punch, go ahead, and I do my roll that I just showed you guys. I'll do an elbow, boom, right here to the face. I'm gonna horse stance right now. Check this out. All I do is this. Here, 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 here. And basically all it is a leverage takedown or a leverage sweep. So what's going to happen is right here, as he goes to punch, doesn't matter, whatever hand, go ahead. But once I come here, this leg comes out, this arm comes down. And that can be done 100 different ways. It can be done with, just put one leg out in front, doesn't matter. It can be done here. It can be done here. It can even be done here. But it's all the same concept. I'm using my stance, bringing my hand down for that low block. Does everybody understand? A little bit more advanced movement is here. He goes to, for my people that have the pignon forms, he goes to punch. Go ahead. Doesn't matter. Any hand. Strike him in the groin. Boom, right here. When I go to take him down, I go from my horse stance to my punch stance.
I don't want to see you.
You guys see that?
I don't want to see you.
Everybody see that? That's one of the more fancier techniques is that takedown where you're slipping in. To make it even easier for you, you can always think about when you get to the back of someone. So if he comes here and he goes to punch at my ribs, at my stomach, and I block, boom, here, just like that. This move right here, don't move. This move right here in Seikon Ilbu, right, turn into my fighting stance. Here, I come here, I grab him, turn him down to the ground. Into my fighting stance. So one more thing, because we have, I'm not sure exactly how much time we have.
About 3 minutes.
One last thing I want to talk about is the front kicks, okay? Your front kicks in a form, or any kicks in a form, are strikes, of course, or finishers, but they're also space makers and space keepers. What I mean by that is if he's here, if we're close together just like that, he puts his hand on me, I push him off me and then front kick him away, that's a space maker. I make space between each other. If he decides to come back towards me, I'm going to keep that space between us. He decides to come towards me again, I'm going to make that space between us. Because as long as I keep him at my foot distance, he can't punch me. He can't punch me. As long as I keep him at my foot distance. And the last thing we're going to talk about, which I think you'll like, is one of the most underutilized moves in the technique, is after I do my last front kick, this right here. Why do we turn like that? Why wouldn't we just do this? It's much easier to turn like that, right? Instead of coming here to here. Why do we turn almost what, 270 degrees around our body?
Because it looks fancy.
Once I do my last kick, boom, I look like this, right? My hands are still up. This looks like this. You guys see how I just turned 270 degrees and did a takedown, the leg sweep? One more time. Let's move back a little bit. So I come here, boom, I hit him in the stomach and the face. I grab him. This leg comes out and takes him down to the ground. Don't move. All I do is that. Everybody do that? I know it kind of looks goofy without anybody in there. That's all we're doing. One more time, if you don't mind. One second. This leg comes inside or outside. This leg comes up as I will do this.
Go into a knot.
You guys see that? Now, it's always easy to do this with an opponent when an opponent's not fighting back. I think I said this to Miss Ann a couple of weeks ago. It's always easy to look good when they're not fighting back. Go ahead and punch me, sir. It's easy to do that when they're not fighting back. But you have to also look at the reality, because sometimes in a martial arts where you're kicking and punching air and bags, you get a little disheartened. And what I mean by that is this guy comes to punch me, and I come here and I go to take him down. I know some of you guys have probably had this before. I go to take him down and they're like, nope, I'm not going anywhere. Well, what you also have to imagine and what you also have to remember as a partner is when he went to punch me, this technique right here, boom, I just shot a ridge hand across his face as hard as I could. Boom, just like that. You think he's going to be softened up a little bit? Yeah, especially enough for me to come here and take him out down to the ground. So a technique like that where we do our 270 turn and throw, you have to imagine this. This guy took a step towards me, boom, and I just rocked him in the groin. As he bends over here, I turn and take him down to the ground. Or you can get imaginative and nasty as you want. I come here, I front kick him in the groin, boom, when he bends down, I elbow him, then I grab him and go to throw him. Okay? So there's all types of techniques and applications you can do for this. Okay? Pretty much sky's the limit. You just have to be imaginative. And remember that they have no limit to them. Okay? Any questions so far?
No.
No? None whatsoever? All right. So I want you guys to take those techniques and do them at the house. Try them out. I think this was on live, so it's always going to be out there for you guys to see. So one more time, Fire and I are going to practice together. We're going to show you. Our first technique, we'll do it towards the camera. First, we're going to do it towards, no, you're going to do it with me. So you have it in your memory forever. So our first technique is this person comes to kick us in the stomach or in the groin. I'm going to step back, left hand over right hand, low block. Or I'm going to step off at an angle, left hand over right, low block. Second one, this attacker comes to kick me in the groin again. I'm going to step off angle. My right hand blocks as my left hand comes down to strike the groin. Arm strip. They grab my hand. I step back. Block. Arm strip. They grab my hand. I bring it up. Other hand strips it and brings it down. Okay? One that we didn't have time to talk about, which is a real simple one, is an arm pass. He grabs my arm just like this, and I pass it. He grabs opposite hand. He grabs my arm just like this, and I pass it to the side. Or he comes up to me and I'm like this. Hey, buddy, I don't want any problems. And he grabs my wrist. Cross wrist. He grabs my wrist because he wants to pull it down and hit me. So what I'm going to do from here is once I come up and he grabs this wrist, I'm going to pull it down so I can expose his body, but also turn. Go ahead and punch me. It's hard for him to punch me when he's turned over. But again, we're not waiting for him to do this. I'm here and I'm like, hey, buddy, look, I don't want any problems. He grabs my wrist. I'm going to pull it down. Boom. Smash him in the ribs real quick, okay? Our other one was our turn, our 270 degrees. So after I do my front kick and my hands are up, which looks like I'm grabbing, I'm going to turn, pull, and come down, just like I'm doing my low blow. And sometimes with these techniques, you got to get imaginative. You have to let your imagination Go crazy. What's SpongeBob say?
Imagination.
Exactly. Okay. You gotta let your imagination really soar with it. Questions.
Okay.
If you guys have a question at any time, FaceTime me or message me or whatever. You can ask me a question anytime you guys want. All right. Thanks, Mr. Strider. Thank you very much, sir, for your help. You got Vignette. Right hand up in the air. 1, 2, 3. Don't see you guys have a good night. Thank you so much.
Good stuff, Lionel. Thank you.
And before you guys jump off real quick, 1 second. Next month, I'm going to do Seikon Ibu, then Sambu, then Chodon, and we're going to keep working our way up. And I'm going to tell you guys this. It's a lot easier when you're here. This is probably the hardest way I've ever taught because martial arts is such a hands-on. It's such a thing you have to be there for. You really have to kind of get their hands on and really feel everything. So hopefully once this passes over, we'll get back into everything and we'll keep training. Okay? Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Thank you.
Coach says, Ohana. Bye.
Bye.
Did we miss one? What? Did we miss one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I'm not gonna touch anything.
Mine was kind of like the third two. That was kind of two together. I think we missed one.
Oh no.
That's okay. Mine's good.
Oh, and you've been invited to see the Star Wars room at the house.
The Star Wars.
The Star Wars room.
I'm going to have to respectfully decline
Got it.
until everything passes over.
Got it.
Yes. Wrist strike, wrist strip,
See,
opposite
I don't-
arm, up kick, wrist arm turn arm upside down. Use. Oh no, we did it.
Okay.
We did that one. We talked about it briefly though. Pull down, striking knee, 2.